Hey, I just thought of this because so many of you had written back to my last vlog in the mind section about, you know, kind of whatever. I tend to talk a lot about that theme of letting go and stuff because it's a big lesson that I've learned, that I keep learning and that I keep teaching. But I think one of the things I wanted to elaborate on was this like epiphany moment I had, that I think you can translate to really anything. But it's pretty simple in that, you know, we talk about not looking back and always looking forward and forgiving, but, you know, when you think about it, when you don't forgive and you just get so hung up on the past and on trying to figure things out and wanting answers or wanting closure, that's such like a cliche, is, oh, I just need closure. And believe me, I've said it before. Specifically, I'll give you an example, and this is where my like epiphany moment came in. My whole divorce situation was extraordinarily sudden, extraordinarily bizarre, and really anybody that knows my ex-husband, that knows me, that his family, anybody would say the same thing. I mean, it was out of the blue, and it was literally, it was like a drive-by shooting kind of a thing where all of us, friends and family that knew him and knew us, were like, okay, I've never had an explanation. I've never had the truth told to me. You know, it just kind of happened and it was horrible. And, you know, I watched somebody go from black to white as far as the personality, as far as the type of human being he was. It was horrible. And the thing that's been very hard for me, you know, since then is to really, you know, I guess let go of the fact that somebody that I felt was my soulmate, somebody that was the most amazing person I've ever met, turned into somebody that, you know, I just had so much anger and I had so many questions. I just wanted to know why. And I would always say, Miranda can, you know, Miranda and Sherry and anybody in my family can testify that I would say this. I'm like, I just want to get him in a room and I just want to, I want answers. I want to know why. And as I've started to do more reading lately, and I've started to be reading specifically about, you know, you have to have this art of forgiveness. You really have to be able to forgive. And when you forgive, that doesn't mean you just say, you don't have to wait for the other person to ask you. You just forgive and you let go. And when you let go, that means you really let go. You don't linger on it. You don't talk about it. You don't think about it. You don't obsess about it. It's just done. And you don't think bad thoughts about that person. You don't think about revenge. You don't think about, you know, one-upping them or them getting their due. You just think nothing but positive, good, loving thoughts towards that person. It's a hard thing to do. And I kept thinking about, you know, what's my deal? Like, what is it that I want from him, from my ex-husband? And I started to, like, this is going to sound very Dr. Phil right now. I kept thinking, okay, what is it that I want? I want all these answers. I want him to explain to me why and why this, because nothing makes sense and nothing's adding up. And then I'm like, okay, Kelly, why do you need to know that? What's that going to accomplish? And I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out why I wanted to know that. Why is it important for me to know that? Bottom line is, when I'm really honest with myself, the reason that I want to know why is that I probably am thinking in my subconscious that if there's a reason or a specific thing that happened that I can pinpoint, well then I can be sure it won't happen again, right? Because if it was X, Y, Z, all I have to do is, you know, accept that and make sure that I don't ever allow that to happen again. So I mean, deep down inside, when you want closure or you want to go back and get answers or whatnot, think about why you really want that. Because if you really want it, because deep down inside, what it is that you're scared it's going to happen again. There's no guarantee that bad stuff isn't going to happen again. There's no guarantee that any future relationship of mine isn't going to have heartache, period. I mean, and those are judgment calls that we all have to make. There's risk when you start any kind of relationship. And I have become a lot more cautious with letting people into my life. I've become a lot more skeptical. But I really try to balance that skepticism that I have, you know, with a willingness to be, give the benefit of the doubt. It's a very hard thing to balance. I'm working on it. You know, there's a fine line between being really naive, like I have been in the past, and always giving the benefit of the doubt and always believing in the best in people, and then being a doormat and allowing crap to happen when you really see a lot of signs early on. So, I mean, it's a fine line, but I guess I wanted to share that epiphany with you because once you realize that, like I said in that last vlog, it just doesn't matter. Most of the stuff that we get hung up on about bad stuff that's happened to us, whether it's with family or friends or a relationship, you know, if you're sitting around thinking about it or getting angry about it or getting hurt about it or crying about it, you know, and it's just you are allowing that to poison your life. If it's somebody that has let you go, you've got to just move on. It doesn't make it right. It's not going to make it right. That kind of stuff is going to happen all the time. But you have to just be able to let go and say, okay, you know what? This happened for a reason. And I know it's going to get better. I know my life is going to get better. If it's a friend or a family member or a, you know, a relationship with another, you know, a partner or whatever, something better is going to come along. Or that original relationship will be mended, but it's out of your hands. And when you realize that it's out of your hands and that you can't control it, that's tremendously powerful. And I don't mean powerful in kind of a weird, wacky way. I mean powerful like it allows you to move on and focus on the things that you need to focus on. Focus on the things that you can do. I've got people in my life that, you know, in my own family that aren't speaking to me. There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. But you know what? I'm going to stop doing what I was doing for a while, which is getting angry and wanting to get back at them. And, you know, being angry and wanting to, you know, show the world how ridiculous this or that was. It doesn't matter. But you know what? I've come to a place where I'm in a completely different place. I'm able to think about these people and say, you know what? I forgive you. And it's done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't need to have a big, huge discussion, and I don't need to be proven that I'm right and you're wrong. It just doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, what's more important is the fact that I would love that relationship to be back where it was before. And that's what's most important. It's not more important to be right. It's not more important to prove that you're better or that you were wronged. What's that going to get you? What do you accomplish other than to say, okay, well, there, I was right. Who cares? You know, be the bigger person. It's hard to always be the bigger person, but it's worth it. I mean, I really don't find myself, sometimes, yeah, people that know me will know that I've said, you know, it gets tiring. It gets tiring continually taking the high road, but I'm glad that I always have. I don't want to say that I always have, because I'm sure that I always have not, but I have, for the most part, always taken the high road, and I'm glad. I took the high road with the breakdown of my marriage, and it didn't get me anywhere. We certainly didn't ever even attempt to get back together. We didn't go to counseling. Nothing I did worked. All the prayers that I said for restoration for our marriage, it didn't happen. Nothing worked, if you will, okay? But the bottom line is, like I told you, and I do not say this to be mean, it was a gift, okay? What happened with him and I happened for a reason, and I wouldn't be where I am today if that marriage hadn't have broken apart. And you know what? I'm a better person for it. I'm a much better person for it. I wish nothing bad for him, other than maybe tripping and falling and breaking his leg or something. I mean, just kidding. Just kidding. I'm really just kidding. But anyway, just that was just me elaborating on, because so many of you wrote to me and said, oh my gosh, you know, thank you so much for saying that. And it really is. It's something that I have to keep teaching myself again and again, because believe me, we're human. We all have the tendency to want to, you know, get back or, you know, have that person grovel or whatever. It just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters are people and the relationships between us. And the more that you have the ability to let go and just love people where they are, sometimes you have to love them from afar, you know, and not everything works out. Not everything works out. And when it doesn't work out, what you need to do is you need to just let go. Because hanging on and hanging on and being bitter or angry or trying to make it fit, you know, it's not meant to be. And sometimes God isn't going to let something happen until you let go, until you stop trying to force whatever it was maybe in your past that you're trying to force and fix. I'm kind of rambling, but I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, and just change the channel. Oh, my camera's pissing me off. It keeps doing that autofocus thing. I mean, it's just one more thing I'm gonna have to figure out today. But I'm not gonna get down about it. That's what Tassimo's for.